Hi, my name is Haley Catiller, and I will be going over communicating with different cultures. So, when you are communicating with different cultures, there is a lot of things to keep in mind, including their culture and norms. There are also some things that you need to do not only before you have this meeting with somebody, but also during communicating with them as well. So one of the things that you want to do is become more culturally and self-aware. So with this, there is a lot of prep work that needs to be done first. Um, First thing is to become more culturally aware. This is doing your research on that culture, not only what their norms are, but also what their expectations are. How do they expect to be treated as guests? Or if you're their guest, how do they normally treat their guests? What is normal in their business world? Some countries take and allow gift giving. While that may not be acceptable in the US, in a different culture, it may be seen as very rude in order to decline that gift because of what we're used to. May Another thing to look into is there a hierarchy with dress? Do certain positions dress a certain way? And if so, what is that? You also need to become familiar with their norms. I believe it is England where everybody stops what they're doing at a very specific time to go have tea. If they are your guest, is that something that you can make time for them for? That way they can still have that. What are their normal working hours? Things like that. Another thing that needs to be done beforehand is becoming more self-aware. This needs to be done with an open mind, as you will be learning a lot about their culture and their norms. You may also find some unconscious biases that you may have towards their culture that you weren't aware of. In order for things to go as smooth as possible, you will have to figure out why you have these biases and also figuring out how to get past them. With speaking, when communicating with someone from another culture, avoid using slang terms. These phrases may not be familiar with them. By doing this, you can create a communication barrier, therefore making it harder for them to understand you. Another thing is common phrases or abbreviations that may be used in the office. So they're not going to know what you're talking about. And then this in itself, again, creates another communication barrier. English may not be their first language. They may not be fluent in it. And with using slang terms and common phrases that you're used to in your office setting, they may not be. If possible, try to take and show them what you're talking about, as this allows them to visually see and ask questions, because they may not completely understand what you're talking about, but giving that visual representation allows them to actually see what you're talking about and it gives them the opportunity to ask more in-depth questions that may actually need to be answered. So what you want to do when you're speaking with somebody from a different culture is to speak slowly and clearly. You want to pronunciate everything. You will also want to take and allow time for translation, whether it be an actual human translator or if it's an app like Google Translate. You want to allow that time for translation. That way they are able you want to allow time for the translation. That way they can actually process what is being said. That way they can ask questions if need be. They can ask for clarification if needed. Another thing is being patient. So translation takes time. And if English isn't somebody's first language, it can be very confusing. We have several words that sound the exact same that have completely different meanings. They may be thinking of one and trying to put it into context to make it make sense, but they're not using the right one. So being patient, clarifying yourself as needed, answering the questions, whether you need to repeat yourself in a different way, such as restructuring your sentence, using different words that they may be more familiar with, or simplifying what you're saying. Or like earlier, giving them that visual aid to help them understand. Another thing is remember to watch your body language. So body language will tell you as much, if not more, as your words. You can give the impression that you're not paying attention to them and what they're saying. So to them, it may seem like you're uninterested, you don't want to be there, you don't really care what they have to say or the questions that they're asking, when in reality, you are paying attention, you do care. You want to make sure that your body language is saying the same thing as what your words are. Because people are going to believe your body language before they believe what you say. Body language in the business world is a huge thing. So we need to be mindful of that, especially when engaging with other cultures. Some cultures are more up and personal, in your face, because their personal bubble, for lack of better words, is a lot smaller than what we're used to. Other cultures may take and stand back further. There may be certain things that they expect from subordinates that you may not be aware of unless you do your research. But those are some things to keep in mind when it comes to your body language. You want to make sure it's warm and open and friendly. You want to make sure that it's telling them you are interested, you are paying attention, you do care what they have to say. So as I was saying, body language plays a critical role in the business communication since it does send a message of its own. Good body language includes maintaining good eye contact. This lets them know that you are present, you are listening. Keeping an open posture is a friendly posture, a warm and opening. Using hand gestures. So this is going to enhance your message. And then controlling your body movements. So you want to control your body movements in a way that it shows that you are confident in what you're saying and what you are telling them. As I was saying earlier, it can let somebody know if you're interested and actively listening, or you can show them that you're not paying attention at all, even when you might be. Thank you.